Hello everyone, I am BlackOpsAmazing. Today I have for you a cipher within the Eisendrache that gives us a ton of interesting information about our zombie storyline. I hope today, as always, you all enjoy the video. I try my very best to make you guys happy, and if I do end up doing that by the end of the video, if you could drop me a like rating, that'd be appreciated. If not, it doesn't matter. You guys are awesome. Let's get into it. So, as I've said many times before, there are loads of ciphers within the Eisendrache. In fact, I have covered a few on my channel already, and I am going through them very slowly because we have so much more to cover within this map. I'm trying to spread them out for you guys, but today we're going to be focusing on this new one that I haven't covered on my channel yet. So again, this is very simple. It is opposite the one that I showed you guys yesterday. If you haven't seen that, of course I will link it down in the description, but this cipher is very close to the starting room. If you come over here and just look down near this hay, you will find this cipher. Now, it's already been decoded by the awesome guys over on Reddit, so again, links will be down in the description, but when you crack this is what it says. The last test subject, the Mexican, died, but during the autopsy, I have discovered the key to create the army that we seek. We are now ready to capture the 4 test subjects identified in report 44. So we're going to go through this bit by bit. The most interesting part is probably what is report 44. We already have heard before about this Mexican test subject. In fact, I've done a whole video on this just a few weeks ago before the release of this map, so that will definitely give you guys some interesting information on it if you want to check it out. It will be linked in the description, but I will give you a quick update anyway. So who is this Mexican test subject? We know our test subjects are our zombies characters. That will be Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai. Richtofen was the mad, I guess you could say, the mad scientist behind all of this. He was the one who created these test subjects. He captured them, brainwashed them. He wanted Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai to become his super soldiers. But there was also a Mexican test subject that died. And we first hear about this in the Call of the Dead radios. Richtofen says this: "I think I might have killed the specimen from Mexico. His spleen is on the floor and he is not moving anymore." In the second radio, it says this: "I still haven't had any luck with reprogramming any of the live specimens. Dr. Maxis, the key to unlocking the human mind will be more easily discovered on someone who isn't dead yet. I am not convinced the army is stored until I can break this trust path." Oh, and apparently someone in security found a spy in the group. They are delivering him from Verrucht to replace the one that I broke. So we know Dempsey was the replacement of this Mexican test subject. But that is the first and probably the only time we actually hear about this Mexican. Richtofen killed him, but he says in this cipher, "During the autopsy, I have discovered the key to create the army that we seek." What exactly is this army that Richtofen talks about? What is this army that he seeks to create? Is he on about the super soldiers? Maybe he's saying because the Mexican test subject died, his death caused him to find the key, which will then be used for him to create our other super soldiers, Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey. It could of course be something we totally don't know about, but the Mexican dying has caused Richtofen to discover the key to allow him to create the army that he wants to. He then goes on to say we are now ready to capture the 4 subjects identified in report 44. Now this is strange because we only have 3 test subjects. We have Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey. Richtofen is not a test subject, so we only have 3. The Mexican died, as he mentions at the start. So because of that, this 4th subject that Richtofen is going on about can't be the Mexican. So for some reason, Richtofen is mentioning 4 subjects, but we know we only have 3. And as stated, the Mexican can't be the 4th because Richtofen already knows about him, Richtofen already has him, and Richtofen's actually already killed him. And he then goes on to say that these subjects have been identified in report 44. We don't know what report 44 is, but this is a BlackOpsAmazing video. We can't just end here. I have some awesome information for you guys. In the Eisendrache, in Maxis' room, this room, the living quarters where Maxis stayed at his time at Der Eisendrache. Next door, we know was Samantha, her bedroom. Opposite, we know is where Richtofen stayed, but this is the lab that Maxis would have worked in. And the best thing is, if you take a look up on the wall, it reveals a couple of interesting pictures within this slideshow. And in fact, one of these is what I believe to be this Mexican test subject. Take a look here. It says down the bottom left, test subject deceased. This is an image of Richtofen's dead test subject. The only test subject that we know that Richtofen has killed is this Mexican. And in fact, if you look close enough, you can also see down the bottom right it says Pablo. I'm just going to get this right for you guys. I will line it up, but if you line the words up correctly, you will make out the word Pablo. Pablo is the name of this Mexican test subject. In case you're confused, maybe you're doubting me. Well, if we actually go back to Richtofen's journal, all the way back from Origins, the letters of the field, take a look at this. May 13th, 1918. The journal of Pablo Manus has been a most valuable source of information. We now stand at the edge of a brave new world. And then Richtofen goes on to speak about other things. But Richtofen, back in Origins, mentioned Pablo, our dead Mexican test subject. But this is strange. Why is this journal that Richtofen's dead Mexican test subject had so valuable to Richtofen? Why does it contain valuable information? And actually, if we go back to this image of Pablo, you will see it is a deceased body. This is a dead body, but it's actually a spleen. Back in the Call of the Dead radios, remember Richtofen said that his spleen has fallen out. The test subject is dead. But you can clearly see on this image of this deceased body part, there is a black sun logo, the same logo that we see on our keepers. Why is this black sun logo on our dead Mexican test subject's body? Something doesn't quite add up, and in fact we have never heard about our test subject again since Call of the Dead, and they are only just bringing him back up. We have his journal that seems to hold some very valuable information, and then on his dead body part, on his spleen, we have the keeper logo. There's clearly a very important reason that we don't quite know just yet as to why Richtofen wanted this Mexican test subject. I don't think he was just a random person that Richtofen picked out. And in fact, was the Mexican even a person? We know their name was Pablo, but they seem to have had this journal that includes this valuable information, and for some reason they have the black sun logo on them. Is it possible that this Mexican was actually a keeper, since this is the same thing we see on them? Or is it possible maybe that Pablo is part of this cult? What if it's possible that there was a group out there that believed in the apothecans? The apothecans, the keepers, or a group that worshipped them, believed in them. There has to be a reason why we are seeing this logo. But then there's also the questions, as I've explained, why did Richtofen want this Mexican so bad? We know Richtofen killed him. It's possible this Mexican may not have been human or had information that Richtofen wanted. After all, this Mexican was captured and taken to Richtofen as his test subject. Richtofen then ended up killing him, taking his journal and using the information from the Mexican's journal for his own advantage. And now we also see the black sun logo, the same logo that we see on the keepers on this deceased body part of Pablo. Something here really doesn't quite add up. It's possible that Richtofen used him to gain more knowledge about the keepers and the apothecans, and even more information about the summoning key. We know the keepers are the protectors of the summoning key. Richtofen went to Shadows of Evil to collect the summoning key. Richtofen knows the power that this summoning key has, and in fact he now has it in Der Eisendrache. I always find it strange how Richtofen has all of this knowledge, all of this information about our timeline, where to go, what to do, yet we never actually hear about how he learned this. Is it possible that he learnt this from this Mexican's journal, from what I believe possibly could be this keeper's journal? Is it possible that we have keepers down on Earth in the form of humans? Since they would know so much about this, they have been on this universe, this world, a lot longer than the humans have, than we have. They would know about the summoning key, the powers of the universe, teleportation and everything. And Richtofen says in this letter that he gets in Origins that this journal from the Mexican holds the most valuable information. I think it's possible that Richtofen has learned everything that he knows from this journal that he got in Origins. If you also take a look at some other pictures that we can see within Der Eisendrache, again on the same wall, as we go further through the slideshow, we see a skeleton. The head, the skull of it looks like an apothecan's skull. Just based off the way the teeth are, it doesn't have any holes for the eyes. This looks like an apothecan's skull. Is it possible this is the same skeleton, the same body that we've just seen earlier, the same skeleton of Pablo? If so, that does mean Pablo is a gatekeeper or an apothecan. I don't know. I'm going to leave you guys to this down in the comments section below. Let me know what you think, but I think a lot of information can be added onto this, and it is extremely interesting. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the video. If you have, if you want to share the video around, that'd be amazing. Just drop a like rating. If we could go for the goal of, no, I'm going to let you guys set the goal. It's totally up to you guys. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like rating. If you haven't, well, I'm just very sorry. I try my very best. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button for more videos, and as always, I will see you in tomorrow's. Thank you and goodbye.